So I haven't really talked about anything Marvel Legends related in a while, and honestly, look, it's not that I don't want to. You guys know that I do get kind of busy from time to time. I mean, I've been meaning to talk about their 85th anniversary figures, which they look very nice. I mean, come on. I mean, besides Wolverine and Superior Spider-Man, I mean, have you seen that Ghost Rider? Like, come on. For the most part, I think that's still up for pre-order. I don't think it's out yet for the most part. But it's still, Hasbro had a lot of great things to show off. So one particular figure I know that they were talking about, and one day they kind of hyped up a little bit, was Dragon Man, right? The big giant purple like freaking gargoyle thing, right, from like the Fantastic Four. So you're probably thinking, right? You're probably wondering, wait, hold on 1 second, Josh. You're going way too fast. Who the hell is Dragon Man, and why should we care? So I'm gonna hold on. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. I'm not too sure. Okay, so he's not in this one either. Okay, neither do I apparently, but you get the point, right? Now let me settle this down. Admittedly, I don't know too much about the character either. I know he does make some appearances from time to time in the Future Foundation story lineup, but that's really about it. Still a little bit new to some of this, right? So you're probably wondering why we're talking about him today. Well, mostly because of the price of the figure, right? So just to kind of give you an idea, this is the figure in question. Obviously, he's very huge. For the most part, I don't think this is going to be released in stores. For the most part, it's definitely going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive figure. And of course, like I say, he's definitely one of the more bigger figures, like ginormous. He's around like 10 inches tall. Which, I mean, look, if you're a Godzilla fan like I am, even though most of those Godzilla figures are like 11 or 12 inches, either way, it's the same idea, pretty much, though, when you get that in your head, right? So he's pretty huge. So, to kind of give you up an idea, obviously, I mean, most of the Marvel Legends figures, if we're talking about, like, normal figures, like, nothing, like, too crazy, like, kind of human proportionate, hold on 1 second. I know the example that they keep using a lot is Mr. Fantastic. So, of course, yes, I have that figure. They showed off size differences. Like I said, 11 inches. This is around the 6-inch mark. And yes, I am very aware this is debatably one of the worst Mr. Fantastic figures ever made. Not because that it's bad. It actually looks pretty good. Why on earth did they give him freaking stretchy fingers? I have no idea. So I hope they make another one with the stretchy arms instead of the stretchy fingers, because that shit's ridiculous, right? Now, mind you, it's not necessarily how tall he is that's the biggest thing to catch. It's also how wide he is. He is around 17.5 inches wide because of his massive wings. Like, he is ginormous. This is a figure that's going to, without a doubt, take up a lot of space on your shelf, which, if you're like me, that's pretty scary. But then again, like I said, because it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, I don't think I'm really going to be able to get them if I wanted to. To also kind of give you another clear idea on that, here are some characters with some wings, right? So I do got the Captain America Falcon. Of course, this is the kind of sort of reissue basically of a much more older figure that came out like in a 3-pack, although this time they gave him some wings. I also do have Angel from X-Men, but he's kind of nice and tidy up in my shelf, and I don't really feel comfortable taking him down. As you can see, cleaning up my G.I. Joe collection, it didn't last long. I already bumped into a couple figures because this chair is loose, but you get the point. To kind of give you an idea, this is nothing. This is still a regular size, figure, mind you, just to kind of show off the comparison. So you can only imagine him, how wide he is. I mean, it is nuts. Don't forget, though, they're definitely, Hasbro is used to making figures of this ginormous proportion. I mean, they've done Galactus, they've done like the Sentinels, and then of course, I don't know if it's either this year or next year. Listen, I lost track of it at this point. Sorry about that. I know they were talking about Giant Man. He looks solid, though. I still really like the way he looks, even though he's also a Pulse exclusive. But listen, I'm just gonna assume if you go to like a random comic book shop, like out in the open, you're probably bound to find one of these figures at some point. Because a local comic shop that I go to actually does have Galactus, but they have him for like $600. And mind you, just to get Galactus would have cost you around like 400 something, which give or take, still pretty pricey, but you get the idea, right? It's an exclusive figure and so is this. But here's the biggest question: is the price warranted, right? So this figure is going to cost you $84.99, and of course that's not even counting shipping and tax, so who knows, right? And there's a lot of the debate over that, which, I mean, okay, fine, you know, of course, obviously you're not going to satisfy everybody, which is okay, you know, that's just how everything is when it comes to collecting. Not everyone is going to see things the same, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. But what I'm trying to say though is it's Hasbro Pulse exclusive is what people have a problem with, because as you guys know, a couple years ago there was the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider funding where they wanted to make like this awesome like car of his, right? It's basically Ghost Rider, but it's not the Johnny Blaze or Did Any Catch Rider, it's Robbie Reyes. You know, do you get the idea? No, I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought I said Robbie Reyes twice. I meant to say, you know, this is not Johnny Blaze or Ketch. It's just random guy, right? Okay, fine. So this is a particular Ghost Rider that isn't super duper well known, but you know, is semi well known to an extent. You know, I know he was in the Midnight Sun. You get the idea, right? Okay, I'm not gonna go too much into it. They wanted like $350 for it. And of course, that's one figure and a big ass car. So, you know, give or take, you know, that was like a very, very controversial thing at the time, you know, asking for that high of a price. Now, they did went through some tiers. So if it had a lot of more backers, you know, if they had a lot more, you know, they would have included like, you know, Fisto, damn, I forgot his name. His son. Yes, the devil has a son in this incarnation. All right, I know it's weird. Basically, they would have added a little bit more. Oh, that's right. I think the Goblin Queen was supposed to be part of it too. But a lot of people went crazy because like, how do I say this? How do I say it without sounding weird or getting off topic? I'm just gonna just say it. I really don't care. Okay, her bazoingas, I guess, like not in the frontal area, but like below. You know, like the below the cleavage part. You know. Pretty much what happened is that it's just pretty much all covered up pretty much, and a lot of people were like, oh come on man, it's not comic book accurate, you know. And obviously this was a toy that's not set to be released in stores, so it's like, come on Hasbro, you could have definitely went the extra measure. And look, Hasbro could definitely go that far if they wanted to. I mean, they literally made like zombie Captain America, you know, based off of the What If series, and that's without a doubt one of their most gruesome figures, because you could like see his bones and you see the blood and everything like that. And I'm assuming that Hasbro can definitely make more figures like that if it wasn't for, you know, Disney being on their asses, but that's a whole story for another time, right? So as you can see, that project kind of flopped. It made sense for Giant Man to succeed more because, you know, it has like a lot going for it and it was slightly cheaper even if it is expensive. But now we're looking at this figure that doesn't have a funding plan. This is definitely set to be a full-on figure that you can buy and purchase. So of course it comes to the conversation as to if the price is really warrant, you know, is it worth the $84.99? Now I would argue yes, but some might argue no. Why am I saying yes? Well, I've already talked about the mass of the size and all that, and you can also imagine how heavy it must be too, because that is definitely not going to be a light figure. I can tell you that right now. I mean, come on now. But of course, we also had to look at the detailing, because obviously when it comes to their recent figures, Hasbro, not just with their Marvel Legends, but their G.I. Joe classifieds all have like nicely done detailing for sure. They have gotten much more better, especially G.I. Joe. They are like 1,000 times better from when they first started. I mean, they weren't bad. They were pretty basic. I mean, if you look at, I think it was Roadblock, right? Their very first figure that they made, you'll notice that the knife, there's not even like a little sheath, you know, for him to kind of hold it nice and tight. It's literally just like a random hole. And like, if you look through the hole a little bit, you can just see his chest. So it's like, okay, that's just really bad design. Like, no wonder it's considered a mediocre figure. And it's fair to say that it is mediocre because it was their very first figure that they made, kind of. Technically, their first figure was Snake Eyes. They go by numbers, so they go by, you know, 0, 1, 2, 3. So Snake Eyes is number 0, and Roadblock was number 1. So it kind of goes like that, right? Unlike Marvel Legends, where they're just all over the place with figures. But don't get me wrong, that's perfectly fine because I love these stories. I love these characters, so why not? So you know what? Yeah, I'm down for a Dragon Man. Why not? I mean, come on. The last time we ever really got a Dragon Man, and honestly, this was when I was super tiny, and I wasn't really into Marvel like that at the time, with the exception of Spider-Man. I know they used to do like these weird, like, very detailed action figures, but with weird ass gimmicks. I know Dragon Man was also kind of part of that, and then of course Toy Biz also did their own Dragon Man. So for the most part, it only seems like only 2 other Dragon Mans were ever made. So I'm actually very happy that this figure is finally getting that light, you know, well spotlight. But you get the idea, right? So I think that's worth it. And of course, like I said, the detailing and all that and all the scales, they already showed off how nice it is. Now obviously this is the tricky part, it is just a digital render for the most part, so for all we know, that there might be a little more, might be a little less, hard to really say. But then again, for a figure of that magnitude, I'm pretty sure they could definitely hold their end of the bargain, because they don't disappoint when it comes to that. I think for sure, you know, and I've said it 100 times already, when you have the figure in your hand, when you can actually like see it and stuff, it's very different from when you see it online. Like I recently bought the new Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter, and I was surprised with like how nicely detailed he was. So I was like, okay, it's definitely worth it for the most part. You know, obviously the tricky thing is that you're buying it online and stuff, and and for the most part, I mean, I don't think you guys have anything to worry about. This crap literally won't come out till like August 15th of 2025. So okay, I mean, who knows? I don't know. Well, definitely for sure, you're not going to see me review anytime soon. I am like way behind my reviews. I did recently got a brand new desk. It's mostly a drawing desk, so it gives me a lot of nice room. So not only can I do my drawing, I can also do reviews properly now. Unfortunately, I don't know what I did with my whiteboard, the thing that I put for the backgrounds of my toy reviews, but don't worry. They are underway. They will happen now, because now I have a much more better setup, except for my tripod. My tripod I'm using right now, it's steady, but it's still a pain in the ass to use. So we'll definitely get to that at some point. So final thoughts. Yeah, why not? I think it's worth getting for the most part, but that's just me. So that's about it really. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in, Of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Well, I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics, too.